Hi everyone, this is the BiGGuru from Asia Retail Academy. It has been 5 years since I started this journey of entrepreneurship. Worked with Shell for over 15 years. I was based in the Middle East, lost my job, jobless after 1.5 years, got into the journey of education and entertainment. So we are an edutainers. So I do training, we do upskilling, we do team building, and on the other side, we also do corporate events. We also host musical events, dinners, and so on and so forth. So this is actually the first episode of podcast. I've been trying to do a podcast for many years, planning for it, and finally I thought I was inspired by Mr. Idris Jala and his son. I thought maybe I should do one with my father as well. So I spoke to him last year, roughly about November, and I got my team to come on board, and we were preparing for the podcast. So it's the journey of a blind man, all right, and his son. So we also run a social enterprise called Blindside, which I started in 2017. So both my parents are blind, and so me and Mr. Lichmanan, my dad. So we thought, hey, let's do a podcast, all right? Talk about the journey of how blind parents raise their children, the challenges living in Kuala Lumpur, managing the socio-economic turmoil, and how did we arrive here. Unfortunately, my father passed away last week, and in honor of him, I'm going to continue with the podcast, but I'm going to do this alone. So not trying to be too sentimental, but I also want to share a bit more on the personal side of our journey as well, because today perhaps the relationship between a father and son is no longer as stronger as it is before. Kids leave the home much more earlier, and that bond perhaps needs to be re-strengthened. How do we navigate family relationships in the modern era where it's so uncertain and face-to-face connection is so limited when we are all connected digitally? All right, so I'm looking forward to meet you all, to speak to you all, and to share my life journey. But before I leave you, I'd also like to share with you or show you something that my father was very proud of. So a lot of you all may not have seen this machine, super heavy, super heavy. It's I think it should be more than 10 kilos, all right? So when I ask my young team members, what do you think it is? They say it's a typewriter. Actually, it's a Braille machine. It's a Braille machine. My father bought this in the year 1976 in Singapore, all right? It's called the Perkins Brailler, all right? Really super heavy. Would you believe it? From 1976, he used this machine. It was fully functional. It is still fully functional. It's still fully functional. It works perfectly fine. He left employment in the year 2020. And that was also due to the scare of COVID-19. So I'm the one who said, I think the exposure towards the virus could be very big. So why don't you take a step back, and why do you then just retire permanently? So from 1976 up to 2020, this was a fully functional, operational machine, and this was his laptop. And could you believe it? There used to be this nice leather bag where you put it in and you carry it with you, but that's totally worn out already. Think about the tools that we use today. Will they be able to survive such a long duration? The amazing phones that we have. So I use this Samsung Fold phone. Will this be able to last for another 5 years? Forget about 40 years. Will this be able to last me another 5 years, another 10 years, all right? What about our laptops, all right? Mouse, wireless mouse, how long does it last? So this brings back to the question of sustainability. And because we are in the learning industry, we are in education, it's about sustainability. What we learn today will stay with us for a long period of time. The tools may change, all right? The tools may change, the methods may evolve, but the knowledge is going to stay with us. And that is what is going to be sustainable. Our behavior, our practices, that's going to stay with us, all right? So, it's a bit difficult for me to do this, but I really do want to honor the relationship that I had with my father. And this was also his award. So this was after 42 years of service. So he received this award. So these are two mementos that I'm going to keep with me. And it's going to journey with me throughout my professional career. I was an employee for 25 years and only became an entrepreneur and employer in 2020. So both me and my father practically lost our jobs at the same time during COVID. Could you imagine? Two breadwinners, both of us lost our jobs at the same time. It was a huge struggle, and yet we survived. Just like how all the hurdles were thrown against us from the day I was born right up to today, it's just challenges after challenges after challenges, and yet every step forward was like two steps backward, and yet we continue to move forward. So it's a story of resilience. It's a story of resilience, perseverance, and how do you navigate or how do you chart your life to overcome all these obstacles. So I was privileged enough to be inspired in my own home. So I just had to look at my parents. My mother is blind as well, and my father is also blind. So both of them met at the Malaysian MAB, Malaysian Association for the Blind School, where my father was trained on how to use a braille machine. So was my mother. My mother decided to become. So that's where they met. They fell in love, and that whole love story started, and how me and my younger brother were born. So my mother is also trained on the braille, but she opted to become a housewife. So only father worked. So that journey, the urban poor. So we are not even B40, we are actually B10, because my father's earning was less than 1,000 ringgit for a long period of time, and only towards the end of his career where he was able to then go towards 2,000 ringgit. And after I graduated from University of Malaya, I was able to start working, and only then gradually we start moving out of the poverty bracket. All right, so this is a journey, of a real journey. This is something that is applicable for every one of you. So before I leave you for today's session, or the so-called podcast, I just want you to remember this. It doesn't matter where we start from. Yeah, it doesn't matter where we start from or how far behind we are in that race of life. Every one of us has an equal opportunity to win. All right? It's just about strategizing our pathway. Some of you might say, hey, that guy is born rich. That guy is born with a silver spoon. Or that guy is born with connections. Yes, I do agree. Some people from the outside may seem to have it better, may seem to be positioned in a greater ability to be successful in life. But having gone through almost 50 years of life and having witnessed my father's 80 years of life, I believe that no matter how challenging it is, or no matter how far behind you start, if you are able to take charge, and you are able to strategize, and you are able to navigate your life path correctly, we too can win. All right? So see you soon next week. Take care. This is the Big Guru from Asia Group. Bye.